What is up, everybody? I am HoopsandHipHop, and welcome back to another episode of the Pokeblock Podcast. We are in episode 3 of our new show format, if you will, bringing on people every week. Last week we had Loxton on the channel, and we talked about sort of if we directed a Pokemon game, what would we do, since we both have our Fakemon projects going on. And today I've brought on another awesome guest. He's a good friend of mine, has been for a really long time, and he's a great PokeTuber, Mr. MysticUmbreon. What's up, dude?
How's it going, Hoops? Thanks so much for having me, dude. I really appreciate being on a podcast. I actually haven't been on a podcast in a while, so it actually feels kind of nice, to just kick back and just talk about Pokemon and add a fun perspective.
Right, yeah, it's super different because obviously we've worked together, but it's super different to do it on a podcast versus a scripted video.
Yeah, very much so.
Because we when we talk for like our collabs or whatever, it's very much just like, okay, here's my stuff, here's your stuff. Yep. We don't really like actually have a conversation.
And that's why him and I we're so good at working together, because we both work in that same style. So it's like, here, send me your stuff. Okay, we're done. That's why working with him is so fast and easy. My editor's he got me stuff in an hour. What the hell? This never happens.
yeah. It's some people, it's you have to plan around almost, but I think you've probably been the most laid back person I've worked with in terms of just here's my stuff, here you go. It's 2 days before we have to go live. We just
know what we have to do, dude. It's just we we work very similarly, I feel, and that's what is pretty awesome to me.
Yeah,
work ethic's also very similar, which I also like, because your work ethic is good.
Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay,
well, I brought Mystic on. Yeah, I've brought Mystic on today to talk about the concept in general of the next generation of Pokemon, Gen 9, as it were. It's super early to talk about this kind of thing, but I also feel that it's never too early to talk about what could happen.
When's top 10 Pokemon for Gen 9? Top 10, dude, I don't know, dude. Right? We're gonna hop on that Sun and Moon era.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Right. Yeah. As soon as they drop that first trailer, it's
we're on
the same stuff over again. I love that time, because it's exciting, and then you've just got a bunch of stuff to talk about. It's great. But we're gonna be speculating, or not really speculating, but talking about our wish list. What do we want to see happen now that we've had Gen 8, we've got the Galar region and all those Pokemon and everything under our belts. Where do we want to see it go from here? Because I think now that we sort of have that in the rearview mirror, it can kind of change sort of the perspective of what we may or may not want to see, especially with Sword and Shield, because obviously there was a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, a lot of people were very on the fence about it. I consider Sword and Shield as a mid-tier Pokemon game. I don't consider it as great. I thought that the Pokemon list we had was great. I love the characters. Clara's awesome. Really like the female protagonist, like the male protagonist. They both have really good designs. I just feel that I'm more of a story person, because I'm more of a Pokemon Sun and Moon, Black and White 2 kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And I don't Gen 2 is my favorite, but Gen 2 really doesn't have a story. It's just a nostalgia trip, because I know you and I are both Gen 2 freaks. And then and then it's just Sword and Shield just did not feel like a story-driven game, what I usually do. I do like the wild area. It is cool. Raids are nice, but I also just feel why don't you just let us offer set for our favorite legendaries and mythicals, rather than just throwing them out? I know there's a reason why they throw them out for events and stuff like that, but I mean, just let us offer set it. Put them in the game.
Right.
I want to do that.
Yeah,
if it feels more genuine.
Cool.
So there's a couple things that kind of irk me about Sword and Shield a little bit.
Yeah, so before we get into this too deep, I do need to give a thank you and just a shout out to our sponsors that help us do this whole thing, because it definitely makes a difference. So with that being said, before we get into this Gen 9 conversation, today's episode is brought to you by the Tax Defense Group. The team of professionals at the Tax Defense Group are passionate about helping taxpayers resolve their tax debt. Their services include basic tax preparation, tax audits, resolving large tax debt, and more. They actively represent taxpayers throughout the entire USA. So if you need help resolving your tax issues, contact the Tax Defense Group. Call the Tax Defense Group today at 800-850-7993 to get started. That number again is 800-850-7973, and you can visit them online at thetaxdefensegroup.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Writer Junkie. Are you thinking about starting a business or a side hustle? For all businesses to be successful, you need a website. Writer Junkie offers website development, content writing, and SEO services for business websites. So call Writer Junkie today at 805-587-7966, and you can visit them online at writerjunkie.com. Alrighty, so I like what you said about Sword and Shield and like your likes and dislikes as far as like it being a mid-tier game in your opinion. I very much feel the same way to a degree. When I first played Sword and Shield and completed it for the first time and sort of like, okay, I've experienced this game, what do I think about it? I placed it sort of in my second tier, if you will.
I can see that, yeah.
Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Because I have
I was kind of like that too at first.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver is my favorite and still my favorite, and it's going to take a lot to top them. But then I've got like sort of my second bunch.
You like Gen 2,
games.
Right? Because I know that you like Gen 2 as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Gen
Because
2.
I wasn't sure if your favorite was Heart Gold, Silver, or Gold and Silver, but I assumed it was Gold and Silver. But if it's Heart Gold, Soul Silver, then like we're pretty much in like the same boat. I like Gen 4
Yeah,
too.
I'm like.
Well, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Diamond and Pearl we don't talk about.
Right. Right. It's Johto. I like
it's
Johto.
Johto, dude. Johto's the best.
But Sword and Shield for me was like sort of in a second bunch of games because I've got Heart Gold, Soul Silver at the top, and then I've got games like Black 2, White 2, and X and Y. I personally really enjoyed X and Y. I know that one is. It's kind of like you liked it or you didn't like it, but
I like X and Y.
I enjoyed it.
I like X and Y and like I know this is about Sword and Shield, but like I'm just gonna be this brief. Also, sorry about the podcast. Sorry about the advertisement. I went on too long at the beginning. My bad. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, but Sword and Shield is kind of in that sort of like tier of games for me, where it's not my favorite, but it definitely is one of my more enjoyable games that I liked, and it was for mostly the gameplay aspects. The fact that like you had the wild area, obviously,
exactly, and that's why I put it as mid-tier. I give like a 6.5. X and Y.
Yeah,
I'm like, I like the replay value of it, but as far as like plot goes and like as far as characters, no. But I like the fresh adventure of it coming like to the 3DS, and like it felt like it was like, wow, like this is like where Pokemon is, like we're finally 3D like after like so long. That's X and Y felt like to me,
right?
And I give it like that respect, right. But like I hate the story, I hate the characters. A lot of the Pokemon are really, really cool. The graphics looked really, really amazing when it came out, because like, you know, like that's the first time like we ever saw Pokemon on 3DS. I just want to clarify, like I don't hate X and Y. I love the concept of X and Y. I love the region. I love the Pokemon, but I hate the characters and I hate the story. That's my biggest thing about Pokemon X and Y.
I think the story with X and Y, it's interesting because I would say that it actually has a lot of it has a good setup.
I see it because like if you like watch the anime, you can kind of like see it. You see it like more in depth, and like I get that.
Yeah, if you look at the plot points, it's like you've got AZ, who is this 3,000-year-old guy who is living forever, and he's got this Pokemon that he killed, and now he's sad. He can't like get over it. Like, it's got some interesting dynamics to it.
You've been watching Toby's videos, haven't you? It sounds like something Toby would say.
I do watch Toby.
I know you do. I can tell. That's Toby's perspective on things, but it's a good one.
It's like it does fall short a little bit in terms of execution, I feel like, but. All in all, getting back to sort of like Gen 9, I think that is like actually like a good starting point in terms of what we would want to see, because you mentioned it at the beginning. Gen 7 with Sun and Moon, which was 2 gens ago, or 1 gen ago, I guess, it was more story focused. Like it had a legit plot, and in my opinion, it is right up there with Gen 5's plot, which is often seen as like the best story in Pokemon.
Absolutely.
And then in Gen 8 with Sword and Shield, we kind of went back to sort of the more generic story, which might have been because obviously there were a lot of like major gameplay things that they added.
Seems
specifically
like an X and Y situation where it's the brand new game coming to the brand new console that Nintendo put out. X and Y and Sword and Shield are very, very similar because they like to show off the mechanics. I can also say the same exact thing about Diamond and Pearl or Ruby and Sapphire, like when they came to like their new systems. Except Diamond and Pearl, Platinum's better. Platinum fixed all the problems.
Yeah, I mean, that is honestly a really good takeaway, because if you look at that is honestly what they do when they make Pokemon games, is they're building it for the system that it's on, so they want to make use of the system's capabilities and the unique features.
Exactly.
So even if you go back to like Gen 3, even like you were saying, Ruby and Sapphire, they came out, and I mean, with the Game Boy Advance, you didn't have anything spectacular, but you had your improved graphics and stuff. But then when Emerald came out, even though it's just
Emerald's
an upgraded
great.
Ruby and Sapphire, story-wise, there's way more story there,
absolutely.
because you get the whole Rayquaza side of it. And then in Gen 4, same thing happened. You get Diamond Pearl as your base. They're showing off the 2 touchscreen multifunctionality stuff. And then with Platinum,
Diamond and
the
Pearl
follow-up,
didn't have a bad story.
I don't think they did either.
No.
But even still, with Platinum, after you had that base sort of entry with Diamond and Pearl, you get the distortion world, and you get a little more to it. And then, so I think the same thing can very much be said for Gen 9 going into Gen 8. I know we're taking a bigger hop there, but it's like Gen 8 was the debut on the Switch. It basically focused on getting all of those, like taking advantage of all the Switch's capabilities and whatnot. And I do feel like come Gen 9, when obviously we've had 1 or 2 or however many ever Pokemon games on the Switch by that time, but Game Freak is also going to be like used to developing for it at that time as well. So that will allow, I think, for a little more leeway and freedom in the story writing department, and I feel like we will see more of a story.
What you're talking about, because I honestly feel that because the Pokemon Company is on such a strict schedule and like a certain like quota, that I felt like the Game Freak, I definitely feel that Pokemon Sword and Shield was rushed a little bit. I definitely feel like there was a lot of stuff that they can do, but necessarily I don't think it's Game Freak's fault. I literally honestly think it's because the Pokemon Company is constantly on them, like, you need to get this out so we can release the merch. It's kind of like, they're the big papa, and they're telling, like, main company, hey, got your butts. Hurry up.
Yeah, like, if you think about it, because the new gens, like, the first game in a new generation of Pokemon comes out every 3 years, and that's pretty much unchanging. I mentioned this in a video that I did. I mean, it's technically, I did it today, but when you guys hear this, it'll be earlier in the week, where I talked about new gens come out every 3 years, and that's same for Sword and Shield. You had Gen 7 in 2016, we had Gen 8 Sword and Shield in 2019. So they were on the same schedule that they've been on for the past like 20 plus years, except they had to like learn how to develop for a brand new system.
Yeah.
And not only was it a brand new system, because obviously they've done it before, but it was the Switch, which is just like a behemoth compared to what all the other systems they've developed Pokemon games for. So they had to learn how to get the hang of that while at the same time doing all the other stuff that is required to make a Pokemon game. So I definitely feel like there was a little bit of a time crunch there, which I totally agree with you. I think that's more like Pokemon Company. They've got your schedule with your anime and merch and stuff, more so than them like rushing.
It's all about making a quota. It's all about making a profit.
Yep. So that actually does make me feel really like, I guess, confident, in what Gen 9 could offer.
Oh, dude, most definitely, because like we've seen how past gens have done. Like Pokemon Sun and Moon. I know a lot of people don't like Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I love them. I think they're great games.
Right. The only thing with Sun and Moon for me, I think the biggest thing was just not the wild area, the trial system and sort of the linearity of the game, where
it did seem very linear. Yeah, I can understand that.
But the story of it is,
because I'm a story person. I like it.
Yeah, right. I love the story. I think it's been a while since I played the the Unova games, but I might even prefer.
It's actually been a while too since I've actually
Sun
played
and
any. Oh, I prefer the Unova games over Pokemon Sun and Moon as well. You don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm a Black and White 2 guy. Although I do like Black and White a lot too. They're both really solid games, good stories.
Yep.
Fun
Black
games.
and White. Yeah, Black and White 2 is probably my second favorite.
I call it
Heart
the
Gold Soul.
objectively best Pokemon game because great story, cool mechanics, great Pokemon to pick from, great character development from a lot of people. It's like, in my opinion, like what I'm gonna say a perfect Pokemon game, but I mean like it's probably one of the best that we've ever had by far. Objectively the best. Favoritism and bias, obviously Gen 2 for me, but objectively
for me,
the best.
Yeah, and for me that says I totally agree with you, and that says a lot for me just because Gen 5 in terms of Black and White 1 was, at the time, I was not a huge fan of it. I've warmed up to it a lot, but I would still say that like Unova as a region is my least favorite region. So with that in mind, the fact that I love Black and White 2 enough to say that it's my second favorite game, even like with the region not necessarily being my favorite, that is like a testament to how good the game actually is. And that's not to say Unova
only
is
difference
bad,
is
Unova it's really good. It just obviously did a lot of things like different, and the Pokemon were they had a different tone, I guess, to them. But Black and White 2 just killed it regardless. Speaking of regions, though, obviously a big topic when it comes to a new generation of Pokemon is where is the game going to be placed.
You're in for a ride, man. Good luck.
I've made my opinions known, and I'll bring them up, but I definitely want to hear what you think. Like, where would you want Gen 9 to be, and where
I'm an
do you think
excited
it's,
kid
like,
right
most
now when I
likely
get to talk
to
about
be?
stuff that's, and like I never do this kind of stuff on my channel. Like I feel so bad. I feel so mad at myself because I'm like, I could write up like a regional story and like it would be really, really cool. I don't know why I don't. So, also Pokemon Cardinal so far is looking pretty good. Like, I need to watch it a little bit further, but like when I first saw it looked really, really good. I'm gonna catch up on it this weekend when I got a little bit more time to kill it. But I mean, like, it looks really cool. I'm really excited to see the story. I'm like, God,
I
amazing. Okay,
yeah,
but
man,
going away from you should go check it out. It's really good. But anyways, going on to my front, I really want either an Egyptian region or a region over in South America. I'd probably say like Argentina or like Brazil. I think those would be really, really interesting regions to have. Egypt, because I mean, like I'm into everything like Egypt like related, and like a lot of the reasons why like I am actually into like the the Egyptian stuff was because I've always been really, really interested in like this like Egyptian history, learning like all the pharaohs and stuff like that. Learning about like how like the pyramid, like it's all this really, really cool. So I'm figuring like the trainers across the region, could all be kind of like just like basic citizens, and then like there could be like kind of like a similar thing with like how duel monsters kind of work, except like you don't kill each other. It's kind of just like they have like tournaments and stuff like that, like Pokemon, so it's kind of like going back like in time and kind of playing in that perspective. Like, ancient Egypt Pokemon battles. I mean, like, come on, dude. Like, you can't fucking... Yeah. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, realistically, I feel an Egypt region is kind of like...
It definitely is a wild card, but it's also because I have a crazy imagination.
It's probably... No, like, it's...
It's a gamble.
It's not that it's a bad pick, though.
It's
I wouldn't
a gamble
say it's the most
to pick.
likely
I just
in the world,
want that.
but at the same time, it fits really, really well is what I was about to say. Like,
I know.
There's so much potential in an Egypt region. It's just not like if I'm Game Freak, I'm probably imagining that Game Freak is not
tell you though,
going
if
to
they
pick
made
that one first.
If they made an Egyptian region,
it would be amazing.
I tell you, I would be grading Game Freak so hard on that. Like, if all the problems that were in Pokemon Sword and Shield happened in an Egyptian region, I'd be pissed. Like, don't get me wrong, like I like Sword and Shield, although I definitely do feel like Pokemon Sword and Shield's aspect of England, they did capture like a lot of things, but I felt like there's definitely a lot of potential that was missed, especially like with like the war in previous like Kalos and stuff like that. They missed opportunities, because I did like a video probably like around a year ago talking about like a possible dragon type evolution coming in. Maybe it'll come in Crown Tundra. I have no idea, but it was basically kind of like the Egyptians and the French. Oh, sorry, not the Egyptians. The English and the French always used to war with each other. So it's kind of just like they missed out on like a lot of opportunities in that department. But the most likely Pokemon region I would probably have to say is probably like Italy. You did a theory video about that a little while back.
It's a good one.
Yeah, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, right?
I did.
Ultra?
And it...
Yeah.
It was in that in-between era. And that didn't
but I mean, like, it's still not out of the question because there have been things that have been referenced in the past, future gens.
Right.
And, like, your theory isn't thrown out the window. It could still definitely be true. It's a solid theory. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I feel like Italy is definitely up there for sure. I just feel like, for me, that Australia is up there. I think it's getting to the point
I totally forgot about
like
Australia
at the top of the list.
I want an Australian region. I want one.
But no,
that's amazing.
Because I kind of feel like, so I've stated this before, so I don't want to go too into it and just beat a dead horse, but I've said that I think Australia, Western US, or another
I would be
Japan
cool with
region.
another Japan
Those
region.
are my top three that I think are most likely. And the reason I say that is because we just had
Europe,
Galar, which is England, UK, Europe, and I feel like just because they want to give a different look and vibe with each gen, especially
going from
Gen
6 to Gen 7
when
was definitely a real big jump.
Japan,
like what? We're going from Europe all the way to Hawaii, like already.
Yeah, so I kind of
was fun.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the kind of thing they're gonna want to do, just because they want each region to feel like it's
absolutely
like it's unique and it has like its own unique things to offer. So for that reason, I kind of feel like it's gonna be non-Europe, and obviously that when we look outside of Europe, we've had two US based regions. Hawaii, so I think just by default as one of the major, obviously North America, United States, it's a significant place in the world.
Coliseum,
so I think that's always
or it's
kind
of like Arizona. It's not really main. That's not main canon, but I mean, like, it's
that's true.
It's still up there as one of them. It's a cool. It's a cool game, by the way.
So I think like the West Coast that hasn't been explored is very possible.
Oh, dude, a Cali
Australia,
region. Let's go.
Australia,
is
Australia,
so unique. Don't make California. Make an Australia region. Before you make a California region, please. I'm begging you. We already have a Grand Theft Auto based off that. We can a GTA, a Grand Theft Auto based off of like California. I go. We don't need a Pokemon game based off here too. Let's go to Australia first.
Yeah. Australia is just big.
I agree with you.
So that's kind of why I feel like that is a possibility. And then thirdly, the Japan idea, I feel like that is possible just because we've got an equal amount of Japanese
We definitely
regions
could do
and
no Japanese
regions right now. So I think it would be. So I just kind of feel like they might favor, like the Japan stuff a little more, just because
you mentioned that
Japanese.
And I completely agree with you because there's actually a spot in Japan that is I don't know if you've ever heard the ROM hack called Pokemon Vega, but Pokemon Vega is actually based in like this snowy region of Japan. I forgot exactly like what it's called, but it is a region of Japan that hasn't been like done yet, and I think that'd be really, really cool to have.
Right. So I thought of an idea just the other day, and I think I'm gonna let it out here because I was gonna make it into a video, but there was just like not enough to make it into a video, but it was a really cool idea. So obviously we're expecting Diamond Pearl remakes soon, right?
That's the goal. Yes.
That's the goal. Hopefully. That's the dream. So if we were to get them, it's very likely that we would have. I mean, I guess not likely, but it's very possible that we would get an Arceus event that possibly we could see, like, we could go back to the Sinjo ruins, because the Sinjo ruins, they were in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but they have a lot to do with Sinnoh, because they were built by people
so that's
from Sinnoh
Ruins of
and
Alph.
from Johto.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were telling me that they were
Alph,
like separate Sinnoh region ruins in Johto. I was like, you sure? Or am I okay? Cool. I know now.
No. So, but the thing,
Ruins of
right?
Alph.
Yeah, but the thing with the Sinjo ruins is that not only are they were made by people from Sinnoh and Johto, but when you go to them in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it shows on the map that it's located north of Johto. So it's not in the region, but it's north of Johto. Likewise, it's not in Sinnoh either. So basically, the Sinjo ruins are in this area between Sinnoh and Johto somewhere. And if that were to be explored in a Diamond and Pearl remake in Gen 8, that would leave, that would be like the perfect lead up for a Gen 9 region that actually, like, the Gen 9 region is where the Sinjo ruins are. And that would just, like, it would be the perfect lead into that, where it could, like, open up and just be a blow up. Because in actuality, like, real life, you've got Hokkaido, which is Sinnoh, and it's, like, in the north, and then you've got Johto, which is sort of in central Japan-ish.
Kansai, okay.
It's Kansai. Yeah, and so there is actually a region of Japan between those two that hasn't been used yet. So that's available.
What's that region called?
It would just work out so perfectly. I want to say Chugoku, but I don't know. If
there's that snowy mountain part of Japan too that hasn't been like done yet, I don't think. What's that region called again in Japan? That's like a snowy one. I want to look at my phone real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at.
I know that that's one you have. I always thought for sure that the snowy region that I wanted. Let's see, snowy.
Oh, right. So the one I was thinking of was Tohoku, which is just south of Hokkaido, which is the Sinnoh-based region. And I feel like it sounds almost too good to be true, but imagine we have Diamond and Pearl remakes, we get that Sinjo Ruins event, and it gives us a little more info, it explores it a little more, and then in Gen 9, we get... Yeah, right. And then we get, in Gen 9, we get this new region that's based on Japan that reveals... It basically is revealed that it is where the Sinjo ruins are, and it sort of like connects, like it's the missing link. I think it would just fit so well with this whole idea.
It's funny you mention that, because
going back to Japan.
in the past I was on like the Pokemon's website, and they had like the Ruins of Alph theme, the Alph theme playing, and they had, and it was like da 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 da, and then it had like just like different kinds of like text that have like unknown and stuff. So I'm like, wow, that's really intriguing. I go, maybe they are planning to do that.
How?
A couple years ago.
How recently was that?
I think it still exists.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because did you notice in Sword and Shield how? I think it was in the hotels, but it was more specifically in Game Freak's room in the Sirchester Hotel, that there was this rug on the floor that it had unknown on it. It was just this giant rug with unknown on it, and I was like, "What the heck?" Like,
no,
you don't just
you don't like. There's like some kind of like
for
significant.
No reason.
Yeah, so I mean, that'd be cool if they did that. The Japanese version, I'd love that.
Like, yeah, it didn't like spell anything out or anything, but I just thought that was weird. So I would that is my ideal, I think, sort of future for the next few years of Pokemon. Just that 3-point plan. Give us the Sinjo Ruins event. Give us that Japan region.
I think that the Japan region is actually a really good idea too, because we do need an Arceus event in Gen 9 leading up, or like you can even do vice versa. You can do Diamond and Pearl remix in the Gen 9, or you can do Gen 9 in the Diamond and Pearl remix. I mean, you can really do anything you want, because if like they're both going to be on the Switch, the Switch is going to be around for a good while longer. I mean, I would do Diamond and Pearl remix first and then Gen 9 after, but I mean, Game Freak does very interesting things, so we'll find out.
Yeah, I feel like we really need the Diamond and Pearl remakes
Pokemon
at this point. Like, it's getting to the point where, like, a couple years ago, it was just like,
Pokemon needs to get on that.
Like, this is sort of like a joke or whatever. But now it's like a real thing.
All right, Game Freak, you guys have like dawdled enough. Like, give us what we want. Like, everyone wants Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Yeah, and we know they're happening, because have you noticed, like, once every like few months or whatever,
I know, I see them. Yeah, I'm always on.
Say,
I see that stuff
Sinnoh
on Twitter
confirmed or something like that.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, So, all right. Well, we've about hit our time for the podcast, but there is like another thing or two I kind of wanted to cover. So, we've already covered the idea of just like a more story focused game for Gen 9. Is there anything along the lines of, I guess, like that, whether it's like gameplay or even like Pokemon specifically?
Okay, we're talking
like
about that
there's a certain
stuff.
kind of Pokemon you really want to see? Yeah, like, is there, what are you looking for?
Well, one thing I want is a dolphin Pokemon. I feel like we've been chipped to that enough. I've been asking for that. I mean, that's been in like everyone's like top 5 most wanted Pokemon for insert gen here. I mean, like, I want a dolphin Pokemon so bad, dang it. What are y'all doing?
Right. It's kind of surprising that we haven't had one, because the dolphin is like, they live pretty much everywhere,
and they're also like
they're
super popular in like Japan too. You know, they're everywhere. Yeah.
Right. Like, we got a koala.
We
Pokemon
did. Yeah. Kamala is very fun.
Before we got a.
I do like Kamala. It is nice.
I do like Kamala a lot. If we go to Australia, this is pretty much the only place it could happen. But if we got an Australian region, platypus Pokemon. That's
completely agree.
That has to happen.
Kangaroo too.
But it can really only happen.
Same with the kangaroo.
Kangaskhan don't count. I feel like just because
it's not.
Right. No. Right. Yeah, Kangaskhan is just like a weird.
Don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's like
hardly a kangaroo.
Decent. It used to be decent in competitive. Well, it used to be broken in competitive because of its Mega Evolution. Let's be real. But now it's kind of like, it's like, yeah, poor thing. Parental bond ain't looking too good on it anymore, is it?
Right. Yeah. Do you think? Speaking of. Do you think Mega Evolution, realistically,
a lot of people think that it is, but I feel like Game Freak has their own unique set of mechanics that they like to add every generation. Like, Gen 6 was...
Right.
Okay, in terms of like... Okay, well, Gen 6 was Megas. Gen 7 was Z moves. Every game has their own like little special move / transformation kind of gimmick. I mean, Gens 5 and below didn't experience it, but anything Generation 6, Pokemon's like, let's mix it up. I think that Gen 9 is going to have its own unique stuff. We're talking about demo remakes. I think that if they were to bring it back, it would make the most sense for them to do it, because Hoenn has Mega Evolutions, Kalos has Mega Evolutions, like those are confirmed things like in the game that had Mega Evolutions. Unless, but I mean, like, you also have to talk about too, how are they going to talk about how Sinnoh is related to Mega Evolution? Because, you know, it's like, that was never mentioned. Like, how are you going to do this? That was something 2 generations ago, and bring it back. I want to see how they do it. If they can pull it off, then it could probably, it can work. But I mean, like, how are you going to do it? And the new gimmick that they probably would come up with, it's kind of tough to say. Maybe, I think Generation 8 will probably still have Gigantamax and Dynamax, but I could be proved wrong. We'll find out what happens. Yeah, like with Gen 8 first and the Gigantamax thing, at first I was a believer that if like Diamond and Pearl remakes happened in Gen 8, that we wouldn't get that, and that would leave the door open for Mega Evolution, just because they mention in Sword and Shield that like Dynamaxing is exclusive to Galar, but it's like, it would be really weird just if with Diamond and Pearl, the remakes being a Gen 8 game, if that Gen 8 feature wasn't there, because usually it's pretty consistent. So for me, as far as like Mega Evolution coming back in like say Gen 9 or just in the future, obviously everyone wants it, and I guess that always leaves it possible, just because
they know how badly and how like beloved that feature is, but at the same time, it's like by the time Gen 9 rolls around, we will have been 3 generations removed from Mega Evolution, and it's like, are they really going to bring back a feature that hasn't been used that long?
But like my thing is with like Dynamax and like Gigantomixing, I enjoy it a lot, but there's even a point where I think where I liked it a little bit more than Mega Evolution, but I mean, to me it just isn't like I've been like feeling it more lately, and I feel that this Mega Evolution just has like this own unique specialty to it, and I'm starting to feel like, okay, well, I think I like Mega Evolution more than Gigantomixing now, you know, or like I'm like, well, I really like what Gigantomixing did, but Mega Evolution also is really, really cool because I like the form changes and the typing changes and stuff like that. I mean, it's just really, really dope.
Yeah. So, yeah, if they do ever bring it back, it would have to, obviously, it would involve the story, because they would have to explain
I think people would be okay
why it's
with
all of
that.
a sudden coming back, which right, it could in a way, like that. There's a lot of possibilities there, because if they do, I mean, frankly, Galar, that would have been a really good place to do it, just because it's so close to Kalos that they could have explained it that way. But like you said, Italy is another place that's very possible as a region. You've got like
Spain was another place that I thought
a bunch of other
also
places
be
in Europe that could happen, where you could explain it that way, or I mean, really they could do it any way they wanted. So if I had to say, I would probably say it's like on the less likely side of things, because I think they are more apt to make new features as opposed to bring back ones that have been dormant for a couple gens.
I think it definitely is,
I think it's possible. Yeah. I do think, though, that now that we have regional variants in Gen 8, and we got them like not just in Gen 7, but in Gen 8 too, that they are going to be a more consistent thing, and we'll see those in Gen 9. Because coming off of Gen 7, I was sort of worried, obviously, that they would ditch it, and I was starting to convince myself that they were, just because I could have seen them explaining it. Because the whole idea is that it's Pokemon adapting to their environment, which sounds like it should be a universal thing, but I was afraid that they were not going to have it again and explain it off as like, well, Alola is this magical tropical island where it only happens there because it's a
I get what you mean. Yeah, and then Galar does and does its Alolan, its regional variants. Yeah.
Right. So I was like super relieved when they revealed the Galarian forms, because I thought that's what they were going to go for. And I feel like now that we have Galarian forms and Galar is just like, it's not like a tropical island setting where you can explain away something like that. I feel like it's the idea, the mechanic of it is sort of standardized now, because I feel like now that it's happened in Alola and Galar, you kind of have to keep it going elsewhere. Otherwise,
regional
like,
variants are probably
exactly,
and regional variants are probably one of the best mechanics that Pokemon's ever introduced. I think I like regional variants more than I do like Gigantamax and Mega Evolution, just because it shows that Pokemon can be different than what they actually are. I mean, look at like the Pokemon anime, for example. You got like the Valencian form Pokemon, for example. Like the Butterfree has like different kinds of spots. They introduced that at like such an early time, and the fact that like we're getting all this cool stuff now, like I love it. Keep it going. Game Freak is doing good on this. That's the one good thing that they really are doing good on. Continue regional variants. They're dope. And going to Manton's also really cool.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And it's super crazy that
I know, it's pretty crazy, but I mean, like in all technicality, it's like, oh well, it's not a real one. It's like, doesn't matter, it still hits it. Water and fire is Volcanion, even though I don't like it very much, but like it's still technically it's like, look, we gave you something, stop complaining about it. It's like, all right guys, I see it.
So I could see that happening, but I think that's pretty much all the time we've got for that.
It's fun.
So thank you, man, for joining me today. It was super cool,
I had a
just
blast
chatting, and Just especially, especially.
I feel like, even though like we're in a podcast, I feel like I was just like in a call with you because like we've known each other for like so long, and it's like we don't talk to each other for like a while. Then like we come back, we have like an hour conversation. It's like, oh, cool. It's cool this to talk about content, Pokemon.
Right. Basically, yeah.
This felt like a phone call.
We pretty much just.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, pretty much just like what we did. Because like we just
pretty much
our chemistry is solid. It works. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, if you're listening and you've made it this far, thank you. Be sure to follow wherever you're listening, subscribe, comment down below with all your thoughts and opinions about this topic. Also, be sure to check out our sponsors in the description as well, if you're interested in what they offer. And with that being said, also, Mystic, his stuff will be in the description as well. Be sure to check him out.
I appreciate you.
Twitter, YouTube,
Thank
all
you
that
very
stuff.
much. I appreciate you being here.
He's an awesome
I appreciate being here, sir.
Yeah,
I'm such a dork.
Yeah, no worries. All right, guys. Well, I will see you next week with another episode. And until then, as always, have a good one. I'll smell you guys later.